Hey, what's up, Roxstars? It's Rox with a little bit of talk about what's at the top of the blogs.
It is, but you got it. Makeup in the morning, you got dresses in your closet, but you grab them tight, you in love with being modest.
Hey guys, first story up. You know we've got to talk about the politics. What's been going on this week. Actually, it did my heart a little good to see that they found YSAP responsible. I don't think they used the word guilty, but that's what the nigga is. He was guilty of sexually assaulting and defaming Ejean Carroll, or is that Ejean Carroll? Ejean Carroll. She is the woman who was suing YSAP for being sexually assaulted in a Bergdorf Goodman store. I haven't had coffee today, so my words is going to be all over the place. She claimed that he had sexually assaulted her and then went on to defame her, talking about her being unattractive, that she wasn't his type, and the such. Anyway, she brought this case forward. It finally went to the jury. Went to the courts, and a week or so later, she was awarded $5 million. Now, this happened 30 years ago, and she has always been a part of the women that said that he had assaulted her. I had actually, I think this was a sexual battery case. She, of course, got mixed in with all of the other women that had been accusing him of something. So I think that most of us had forgotten about her, but she didn't forget about her case. And she said that she was ecstatic. Okay, now she showed up for court every day. YSAP was not there. He never did show up in court. Some people say the fact that he couldn't look the jury in their eyes says a lot when somebody is accused of something like this. If you are truly innocent, then you would be adamant about letting people know by any means necessary that you did not do this. He did not show up. They did have his deposition recorded. The deposition was definitely YSAP-esque. You know how he can be very arrogant. But he doubled down on a lot of the things that we've had problems with, the things that he's said in the past, you know, namely the most important, or the most popular, I should say, is the fact that, remember when he was running and we found out that he told that person on the, what was it, Entertainment Tonight or Inside Report, one of those shows, that, you know, celebrities have the, they're able to just grab people in the pussies because the women just fall all over themselves. You know, they can't help themselves. They see a celebrity and they do whatever that the celebrity wants. And in his deposition, he said, fortunately or unfortunately, I guess depending on who you're talking to, that that's just been the way of the world, that celebrities have their way with women because women let them do it. Okay. And to me, that was sort of like an admission that, see, to me, YSAP doesn't like to be challenged. He doesn't like to, he wants to say whatever he wants to say and do whatever he wants to do. Even if he knows deep down inside that this is a bad look for him, he can't help himself because it's that arrogance in him. It's the narcissist in him. Okay. So yeah, he knows that he shouldn't be grabbing people in the pussy. But for him to actually turn around and say it again, you know, that this is what people do, just an idiot. I think that that probably had a big part in the reason why the jury believed Miss Carroll. Now, of course, YSAP's camp has been trying to tell everybody that this has been a witch hunt. Okay, that's his favorite word. This is the biggest witch hunt in history, staged against him to make him look bad, of course, by the left, because he's going to be running for president again. And of course, this is going to make his campaign a little spotty. You know, so he claims that this is all happening because of that. I mean, if you rape the woman, you rape the woman, okay? The timing, I guess we could say, may have something to do with the fact that he's running for president again. But the fact of the matter is, if you did what you did to this woman, obviously the jury believes that you did what this woman is saying that you did to her, and they have awarded her $5 million. She said she feels fantastic. I said, I bet you she does. Of course, Weissap was pissed. The day that he was found responsible, okay, he posted videos and memes on his social media all that night, had a speech, again, saying that it was a witch hunt, saying that the people do not want him to win again, and this is the reason why that it's happening. Now, there are a lot of Republicans who don't want Weissap to win again. Quite frankly, Weissap has done his job and birthed a whole bunch of little Weissaps, okay, mini Weissaps, and they're all over the United States. So really, there's no need for a Donald Trump again. We have others that we must deal with now. And Weissap and his 4 years that he was in office was nothing but chaos. And even I think the Republicans are tired of that. Okay. So there are a lot of Republicans that don't want Weissap to get back in office. There are many who played the game because they needed to get his supporters on their side, so that they can run and get, you know, the votes that they need to win. So, I mean, it's all, you know, politics. You guys know how it goes, right? It's all a part of the game. And, yeah, I don't even think that they are really too much worried about Weissap the way that they used to be. This is just one case out of many legal problems that Weissap has. He still has other criminal charges in New York. They're still trying to get to the bottom of those classified documents that were taken from his residence at Mar-a-Lago. He still may be indicted here in Georgia. The DA is still trying to figure that out, honey. The DA got her hands full with that YSL trial. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But so yeah, we're not sure if it's going to happen here in Georgia. But yeah, he still has a lot of legal issues, a lot of legal problems going on. And I've told you guys before, I don't even really fear Weissap getting voted back in. I don't believe that he is really even a contender any longer. I think there are other people to worry about. So, but I was happy to hear that he was found responsible, the nigga guilty, and that he got to come up off of these $5 million. Of course, he's going to appeal because that's what they do. And we'll see if the appeal, you know, takes or not. And of course, if it doesn't, then this woman is going to be $5 million richer for her time that she spent with Weissap back in Bergdorf Goodman's. And I actually think it's extremely funny that this woman, who he claims, you know, who he basically could have just said was ugly. He didn't say those words, but those are the words that he was implying when he said she wasn't his type. I was like, oh, do rapists have types? I thought rape was all about control and it didn't matter what the type was. And hell, if you're going around grabbing women by the pussy, I guess the type don't matter. Everybody got a puss if you're a woman, huh? I mean, if you were born a woman, obviously. So, yeah, I just felt really good that he finally was called to the carpet on something, even though this is not, because the man has gotten away with so much for so long, and it's just finally... it makes me feel good to know that finally, you know, the man is paying for something. So, we'll see what happens with that case in the future. But as of now, $5 million. Miss Carol said, fuck you, pay me. Yep, also part of politics, George Santos. Boy, we've had a time with Mr. Santos, haven't we? We've talked about him and the fact that he lied to get, to become, what is he? Is he a senator? Or is he, or no, he's in the House of Representatives, I believe. Yes, he's one of the representatives for wherever he is, up in New Jersey area, I believe. Anyway, he was arrested. 13-count indictment, wire fraud, money laundering, theft of public funds. Those are amongst the charges that have been brought upon him. He was released on $500,000 bond. And he is going to be awaiting his awaiting his trial. Now, of course, I think he's in Long Island. So, of course, he is saying that this is a witch hunt. I said the Republicans love that word, witch hunt, huh? It ain't too much of a witch hunt, because every single thing that has come out about George Santos and what he has done has been a lie. Like, he is a liar. He lied about his education. He lies about his parents. He's lied about, his beliefs. He's lied about being on certain teams that he wasn't on. Now we find out that he pocketed $24,000 in unemployment 2 years ago when the pandemic first started, and he was still working. Okay, he still had a $120,000 salary at an investment firm, but he still applied for unemployment, got $24,000 there. Apparently, he was given money for his campaign, and instead of using that money for his campaign, he pocketed that money. They say he used it to pay bills. Then they say that he got caught up with some military man, some retired vet, and the retired vet's, I guess, dying dog. He had collected money to help the man, but ended up keeping that money. And child, it's a whole bunch going on. Now, he is saying that he is not guilty, and that, that it's a witch hunt. Just like, how do you say that these things, that you're not guilty and that it's a witch hunt, when it's like documented things that have happened? Okay, him lying about his mom being in the towers. He said that his mom was in one of the buildings that collapsed. Mom wasn't even in this damn state. Okay, and then of course we know that he also has legal problems over in Brazil. I think it had something to do with like fraudulent check writing, something along those lines. So there were so many things that was coming out about George Santos, and if you lied about those things, you didn't go to that school, you weren't on that team, you got unemployment, he says that it was all a mix-up. And he don't know where they got their information from, but once he sit down with the people and let them know exactly what it is, then they gonna clear him of all of this. I said, okay, Mr. Santos, I guess we gonna wait and see. Now, Kevin McCarthy who's the Speaker of the House, has decided that he is not going to get involved and that he is not going to ask George Santos to step down. They already had told us that before. But what Kevin McCarthy is now willing to say is that he doesn't feel that George Santos should run again, because he feels like George Santos is a distraction and that he has other things going on in his life. Okay, so yeah, let him finish out this term, but that's it as far as Kevin McCarthy is concerned. Of course, everybody else, well, not everybody else, obviously, but a good amount of people in the House of Representatives feel that he is a farce, feel that he is a fake and a phony, and that he needs to go. Now, George Santos said that he is going to run for re-election. That's granted if he's not in jail when it finally does happen. But yeah, he is one of those ones that's like in your face, a slap in the face. Like all of these things that have come out about him, and he still just walks proudly amongst the people. Okay, as if he ain't did nothing. You have to admire the audacity, honey, because he definitely does not care. He's going to continue on this charade until, I guess, they finally put his ass in jail or, fine him, charge him something. And I think it's going to come. I think that there's enough information documented that George Santos will have to answer for a lot of those things. Okay. Money laundering, theft of public funds, wire fraud, all of that. Yeah, he going to answer for you guys. It's just a matter of time. I'm feeling good, though, that they got him in, honey. I was just like, Trump and Santos. It's a good day. It's a good day.
You a move body giving interviews. I'm just saying I'm amused. But you ain't even.
All right, you guys, next story up. So I didn't want to make this the focus or the first story of Top of the Blogs, but of course you guys already know what I'm coming to you with, right? Yet another shooting. So in was it Allen, Texas, this past weekend at an outlet mall, there was a shooter. There was another shooter, you guys, that showed up at the outlet, There was a shooter that showed up at the outlet with an AR-15. If you guys saw the video that they show on the news, you see that he basically just pulled up in the parking lot, in the middle of the parking lot, and got out of the car and just started blasting. Now, he had an assault rifle. He had an AR-15, and you guys know that assault rifles are automatic, so the bullets come out very quickly, and he was able to hit a whole bunch of people in a short amount of time, and they couldn't even really find where he was originally. 33-year-old Mauricio Garcia. He was carrying 3 guns, they say, and had 5 more in the car that was found. They were all legally obtained. He purchased them legally. They say that Garcia is part of a right-wing group by the name of Right Wing Death Squad. And that is a right-wing group that looks like it started over in Russia. As if you guys were able to see the video, when he just jumps out the car and just starts shooting, I mean, you could tell that nobody was going to be prepared for anything like that, because the way he just nonchalantly got out the car and started blasting, you guys. They say that 8 people have died, and that 7 others were hurt and taken to the hospital. Let me give you the names of the victims, 1 second. What's sad is that because they were at a shopping mall, you know, families go shopping on the weekends together, that there were families that were actually killed. So I'll tell you guys the names. First, we have an Asian family, the Cho family. Kang Shin Young, 35 years old. Cho Kai Song, 37 years old, and their 3-year-old son were killed. Okay, they have a 6-year-old child that's now left without a mother, father, or brother. Then we had Daniela and Sofia Mendoza. They were elementary age students. One was in the 4th grade, the other one was in the 2nd grade, sisters. Then we had Elio Kumana Rivas, 32 years old. We had Christian LaCour. Christian LaCour actually turned out to be one of the security guards that worked there at the outlet mall, and they said that actually he had saved a few people, had gone back in to help, and then that was when he was killed. So he was killed in the line of duty. Then we had Ashwarya Thatakanda. Okay, she looks like she might be Middle Eastern, maybe Indian. And she was about to turn 28. Those are the people that were killed. The others that were injured were taken to the hospital, some critically, you know, and then others that were released and able to go on home. But yeah, another sad shooting. Actually, one of the Roxstars, one of my good friends, Kia, reached out to me yesterday and told me that she actually was literally going to be at that outlet mall because it's the weekend before Mother's Day. She's out shopping, you know, running errands, doing the things that people do. And she literally would have been there at the time that that man was shooting. But God, you guys, kept her from going there. And she lives to see another day. I mean, you know, of course, we don't know if she would have got caught up in the shooting or not. But just the thought of knowing that that could have been your last day, I mean, that's jarring, you know? And again, just another reminder, I was telling her that it's sad that this is the state of affairs that we have found ourselves in the United States. Of course, more people hear about these type of shootings and then they copycat, or they decide, well, they aren't happy with their lives and they were looking for a way to do something that was going to, you know, be a big splash. So why don't we do this? That seems to be the new thing now. And that is very scary because literally there's nowhere that you can't go where you could now get shot. You know, at one time, there were times when we thought that we could go certain places and that we would be safe, but that is not the case any longer. And I was telling Kia, I was just like, yeah, that's just really where we are in the world today. And that's a very sad state. You know, I think about my kids, my grandkids and all that. I don't know what it's going to be by the time my grandkids get here and get grown, because it's just sort of like, what is going to happen? You know, if this continues to get worse and worse, which is what it looks like is happening now, what is our future 30 years from now? What exactly is going to have happened? You know, it's a jarring thought. And one of the rock stars actually asked me to stop talking about the shootings because they happen so much, and it almost seems like people glorify the shootings. I mean, I'm not trying to glorify anything. I'm just really trying to inform you guys. People ask me to talk about the topics that I ask. I mean, you know, that I speak about. So it's never anything about glorifying. And actually, I don't even... It gets to a point where it's, you know, I'm just at this point where I'm like, what else am I supposed to say? I don't know what else to say other than our prayers up for the people that were affected, for the community, for just our United States right now and what we're going through. But other than that, I don't even have an answer anymore. That's why it feels sort of like repetitive of just talking about these stories. But I also don't want us to become so desensitized to these things happening that we just feel that it's time to accept that this is just the norm. I don't think this is something that we should ever really be accepting, you know. Yes, it has happened now on a daily basis, but that should still be something that we consider very out of the ordinary and, something that we shouldn't get comfortable with. So I'm still trying to figure it out. Maybe you guys can weigh in and let me know what you think about these stories about the shootings. I mean, I do feel a responsibility to it, but every single week, is this something that people want to hear about, or is this something that people need to hear about? So you guys weigh in the comments and let me know what you think. If I should drop them or if I should continue on. But yeah, very sad. Key, I'm glad you're still here, girl. Okay. And you guys be careful out there wherever you are. Like I said, eyes on the back of your heads. Y'all pay attention to your surroundings. Try to be as safe as you can.
And you cool, tatted up, cover wounds, different vibe, you know it, bro.
All right, you guys, next story up. This is an update, or I guess maybe a continuation on this story. JonathanMajors, you guys know JonathanMajors has found himself in legal hot water as well, because his now ex-girlfriend has accused him of assault and battery. So he had his day in court the other day. Now, he didn't say much other than yes, ma'am, and I think he pled not guilty. But we found out more detail about what happened that night. And now, before, we had heard that they had gotten into some sort of a confrontation at a bar, and then they left the bar, got into a taxi, and got into a fight in the taxi. Okay? Now we're finding out that they got into the fight, the original fight. Maybe they had been drinking, that apparently he had twisted her finger and broke her finger. And then he twisted her arm behind her back and shoved her into the taxi where she fell in. And then, of course, they got into the scuffle in the taxi. Apparently, he hit her and so hard that she ended up getting a cut on the back of her ear. That's the story that they're saying, but the defense is saying that that is not true, that did not happen, and that the fact that the girl, after her and Jonathan split ways, ended up going to another party, and is seen there talking to the DJ at the DJ booth, is seen there talking to the people at the front desk, like the host, signing for a receipt. They're saying that it looks like she was not injured. Now, these are still pictures that we have seen, not video. And they're saying that, if she was so much in dire straits, like she said she was after those two had parted ways, then why was she able to go and party up? They're maintaining that there was nothing wrong with her when he left her. But apparently, remember I was telling you guys that there was a tweet that they put out that made him look worse? Well, I got the tweet for you. I'm gonna read it to you. Okay, so this is the tweet. This is her actually sounding like she is apologizing to him, that it actually did happen, but she sounds more like she's apologizing for just the mess in itself, not necessarily for doing anything to him, but just because now they found themselves in these circumstances. Okay, so here's the tweet. It says, they assured me that you won't be charged. They said that they had to arrest you as protocol when they saw the injuries on me and they knew we had a fight. I'm so angry that they did, and I'm sorry you're in this position. We'll make sure nothing happens about this. I told them it was my fault for trying to grab your phone. I only just got out of the hospital. I also said to tell the judge to know that the origin of the 911 call was to do with me collapsing and passing out and your worry as my partner due to our communication prior. Okay. And so she was talking about the fight that they had earlier. Now, JonathanMajors called 911 because, according to him, when they parted ways, he didn't see her or talk to her anymore. And he went home to their apartment. They lived together that next morning. He said that at 11 o'clock that next morning, he went home to his apartment and that he found her unconscious and on the floor of the closet because apparently she had taken a bunch of pills. Okay. And he called 911 because he was worried about her being collapsed in the closet like this. So when she says that she said the 911 call was him just worrying about that, you know, that's what she's talking about when he found her. I don't know. Depending on who you ask, the night looked like it took a few turns. And depending on who you ask, either she went out after she broke away from JonathanMajors, even with her injuries, and decided that she still was going to have a good time, or she was fine when she went out and didn't have these injuries. Now, maybe I have never been in a situation where I've been in a fight with a man and anything like that. Not physical fight, but I can see that sometimes women, you know, still trying to make the best of a night, might still go out, especially if they've already been drinking, might not be feeling the effects of their injuries as much as they would if they were sober. But like, if you're already drunk, you got all this shit going on, yeah, maybe you will still just go out and catch up with your friends and still try to have a good time. You know, it sounds like sis got some things going on with her, you know, the fact that she took these pills and passed out and all of that. So I think it's a lot more to that story that's going to come out as this case continues on. Like I told you guys before, there are other people that are attaching themselves to this case and saying that they've had a run-in or two with JonathanMajors in the past as well, which is not a surprise to you guys because I told you that at least in them Yale streets, they said that when JonathanMajors was a student there, that he was a fucking menace, and that he used to terrorize the people, and that this was very easy to see him doing something like this. So I don't think it's gonna get no better for JonathanMajors unless we can just flat out see that he did not do anything to this girl. I mean, we're still waiting on this video or this confession. I mean, not confessions, but the testimony of the Uber driver or the taxi or whoever it was. It's still parts that are missing from the case. But suffice it to say, JonathanMajors is in a lot of trouble, and JonathanMajors, I think his career, if it's not totally over, it is taking such a severe blow. I'm talking about severe. And like I already told you guys before, honey, the celebrities is making sure that they stay far away from JonathanMajors. Okay, public enemy number one. Ain't nobody trying to attach themselves to any of that. So he's on his own. And if he's doing these things, then that's where he should be. Okay, so we'll see what goes on. We'll see what comes about with this case. This is going to remain in the blog, so I'm sure we'll talk about it again.
And you ain't gotta try too hard. Number one fan,
all right, you guys, so the Young Thug trial. When I tell you that it feels like every day on the news they talk about something that happened in that trial is a fucking mess. Like, you know, when they told us that it was going to probably take about 6 months for them to get the jury selection together, I don't know why I didn't believe that, but that's exactly what is happening here. We can't even get to the damn case We still doing preliminary type stuff. And it's like every day is something. So now the latest is, let's see. We got one of his co-defendants, Set Trip, or J-Man. Those are what they call him. His mama named him Jaden Merrick. Jaden Merrick and another gentleman is the two people that were accused of stabbing YFN Lucci while he was in jail last year. Okay, and they're saying that Young Thug was one of the was the person that ordered that hit. Okay, now Jaden Merrick has been diagnosed as a schizophrenic. In court, he actually told the court that he's not a regular inmate, you know, that he said, I be with Joe Biden and Donald Trump and they be talking to me. That is one of the quotes that they have out there. Obviously, he hasn't been talking to Joe Biden or Donald Trump. And so I guess once sitting with the doctors, they finally diagnosed him as schizophrenic. He seems to think that Donald Trump is going to get him out of jail. Donald Trump might not even keep himself out of jail. So Donald Trump can't worry about Jaden Merrick, Young Thug, YFN Lucci, none of them. Now, Jaden Merrick, as far as jail is concerned, he is already in jail. He's in jail on a life sentence with no chance of parole for a murder. And he's been in there since October of 2022. So, if anything, this case is just going to add more time onto a time where he's already going to be in jail for the rest of his life, you guys. But yeah, they have removed him from the Young Thug group. You know, this is a RICO charge, and this Young Thug, I think it started out, was it 27 people or was it 19 people? Anyway, it's down to 10 people because you guys know that they released some folks, including the rapper Gunna, but they released some folks so that, you know, some people are out. What about the one? Was it Thug's brother? Child, one of them that they did release. I'm just remembering this. I didn't put it in my notes, but one of the ones that they did release, do you know this motherfucker done found himself arrested again on some other bullshit? I think had something to do with him pulling a gun on somebody. I mean, right back in jail. I said, boy, you got to be about as stupid as a rock to get out of jail just to end up back up in that motherfucker. Now, you admitted that you was part of RICO. I mean, that you was part of YSL, and they let you go, and now you do something like, what is wrong with them? I'm telling you, it don't make no damn sense. It don't make no sense. But it's been like that. Another day I was watching the news, and one guy, they took him out of the courtroom, and as soon as they got him in the back, he just started screaming and yelling. Child, Young Thug looked around like, what the hell is going on? Like, what are they doing to the man? I'm telling you, every day is something. The judge then already had to assign essays. It's either essays or jail for these people that in the jury that haven't been showing up when they were supposed to. Not doing, you know, keeping up their end of the bargain. So the judge has assigned like a 30-page essay that they got to write. I mean, it's a whole lot going on there. That's why I said that DA got her hands full with this YSL trial. That we don't even know if she gonna pull YSAP, even though YSAP needs to, because the shit that he was trying to pull here in Georgia was ridiculous. Okay, he was definitely trying to get them votes thrown out or lie about it and get some added, whatever he needed to do to win Georgia and keep Georgia red. But she's busy. Child, she busy. That Young Thug case, every day on the news or something. Child, every day. And we still ain't even got to the case. I don't think they've even finished picking the damn jury. There's a whole lot there, you guys. But yeah, Jaden Merrick, he will be tried in a separate case on his own.
Got me think about inside the moss. Words got deep, it's like a sword. Making me better, you hotter than pepper.